All right. The new hairstyle is brought to you by the fact that I've been wearing a beanie all day because it's 25 degrees here in the Blue Ridge. Hair kind of just decided to merge with my skull today. And then B, this is all meant to distract you from Zit A and Zit B. Y'all didn't even notice them. And now they're out of your memory and you can't even see them again. Mission accomplished. Also, Kroger matches are no more. This is breaking news. I've gotten word that a beloved listener, a beloved viewer, beloved follower and supporter has come to the rescue, has heeded my call, and a brand new, this is so stupid, on my part, not on his, a brand new box of matches are coming in the mail as I speak, as we dialogue. And depending on when you watch this, I could already have received this box that's arrived, and my joy is now complete. But until that day, our usual candle will be dark. For this Manly Monday, our monthly little check-in here at Your Other Brothers. .com. My name is Tom. I am the co-founder and editor of this community, and we are navigating faith, homosexuality, and masculinity together. So for this Manly Monday, I thought it would be great to share a little bit about what I've been going through. I mean, I do that every Manly Monday. Every Manly Monday relates to some part of my story in some aspect. But usually I'm talking about things that have happened like years ago, childhood and high school and college. But I want to talk about something today that is ongoing. The story is still being written as we speak. And that's my journey with CrossFit. How many CrossFitters are out there? Show of hands. You probably don't need to raise your hand because you've already raised your hand and you've already been talking about it because that's what CrossFitters do. And I feel so ashamed because I used to, cast the stink eye whenever people tweeted or just talked about, oh my gosh, my CrossFit gym and CrossFit workout and CrossFit this. And then totally unintentionally, unbeknownst to me, it was a total surprise as it happened. But in the aftermath of joining CrossFit about a month and a half ago, all of a sudden, that's all I talked about. I tweeted 7 things in a row about it. But I bring up CrossFit because I also want to bring up an email that I just received. And this is all gonna make sense in 2.5 minutes. So don't fast forward. So I got this email from a pastor, which is always a fantastic response. By the way, if you wanna email me anytime, tom@yourotherbrothers.com. I'd love to hear from you. But this person reached out. He's a pastor, has, listened to our podcast, follows our community. He says this: "You are doing such great stuff. I'm a married man with 3 kids who struggles with full-on opposite sex attraction, but the issues you talk about resonate with me. There's so many times I read a post or listen to a podcast and I say to myself, that's not just homosexual men, that's all men. You guys are so much closer to the rest of us than you realize. You're even further along to real masculinity, I think, because so many men are trying to live up to a false image, but they don't see it or talk about it." And I gotta say, first of all, thank you to this pastor for writing in, for that affirmation. And second of all, I'm a huge words of affirmation person, so when someone goes out of their way to affirm me, it strikes a chord that maybe other people, it rolls off their back water dropped after a car wash. Y'all ever see that? After a car wash, the water just kind of beads up on the windshield. That's words of affirmation to people with no hearts. Oh my gosh, you guys, there is a ladybug. You see that? There's a ladybug inside of my, spoiler alert, it is not tea this time, it is water. But look at that! He landed right there. So I guess, how appropriate, a ladybug on Manly Monday. When someone goes out of their way to affirm my masculinity, gosh, do I really need that? Do I need to be affirmed about my masculinity? And the answer is yes, I do. I really do, because I trick myself into thinking that I am less than, and we talk about this a lot, or at least I do, on the podcast and in my blogs that I write for our site. I really have a struggle with masculinity, and I've gone on the record in saying that masculinity is more of a struggle for me than sexuality ever has been. Of course, sexuality has brought its own slew of struggle, but my struggle has always been with masculinity, believing that I am a man, or at least man enough, on par with all the other men in my vicinity, whether it's a school or church or job or even here with your other brothers, our community online. I always compare myself and I envy other people who feel further along than I am, and it's always been a struggle. And this ties back to CrossFit in such a pivotal way, because I've been doing CrossFit for about a month and a half now. It was sort of a New Year's resolution, I guess you could call it. But I had been pretty sluggish physically for the last, 7 months, 8 months. I was not in a great place mentally, emotionally either. Yeah, I just felt sluggish and lethargic all around. I've joined gyms in the past, and it's really hard for me to self-motivate. It's hard for me, without any kind of training or any kind of education about how to use these machines and how to do the right workouts at the right times and how to work on certain muscles. I don't know any of that. So all of a sudden, the notion of CrossFit and a coach, leading your workouts, a small group, an encouraging team-based atmosphere. Intense, yes, there is the intensity factor, but the one-on-one attention, kind of like personal training, but just in a group, a small group dynamic, that was appealing to me. And I will say that I finished last pretty much every workout. It used to be just last in general, behind the guys, behind the girls, behind everybody. Lately, I've started to leapfrog some of the women in the class, so I'm starting to feel a little better about my masculinity in that sense. But no, these women are tough, the guys are tough, and at the end of the day, I know I'm new, so I don't expect to be at the front of the pack anytime soon. Just learning how things work, getting the right form, building some stamina. And it was interesting because recently I finished dead last, not just last, but minutes behind. There was an obvious gap between second to last person and Tom. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, there was a pretty sizable gap. Everyone else was cooling down and stretching, and meanwhile I'm still doing these cleans and doing these squats, and I feel eyes on me in sort of a self-conscious way. It took me back to high school and middle school in a way, where I took one semester of weight training with the other boys in my class, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I was one of the weakest kids, one of the weakest boys in the class. Felt all the eyes on me, felt a lot of insecurity, wanted to crawl in a hole, wanted to disappear forever. And contrast that with where I am today, knowing that I'm there. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning to be there, knowing, on a cold, frigid day, it was 10 degrees out that morning. I definitely had the thought that particular morning to just sleep it in and try again tomorrow, try again another time. But I got out of bed and I got dressed and I went, and I finished in last. But you know what? So many people didn't get out of bed and didn't do a workout and aren't taking care of their bodies the way that I am. And all of a sudden, I have this new perspective that just because I'm finishing in last, and just because, I can point to lots of tangible things that show that I'm different or that I'm apart from the rest, I can also look at that scenario and choose to say, you know what, I'm the same as all these people because I showed up and I'm working on myself. And I got out of bed and I'm doing the workout with these 7 or 8 or 9 other people. And we're accomplishing this thing together. We're all on an equal playing field. And it's such a parallel to how I feel as a man. And I hope that it can be a parallel for how a lot of you guys watching feel as a man. That you may feel behind in so many tangible, pointable ways. But if you're showing up, if you're working on yourself, and that can look like so many things. It can look like working out, going to therapy, having accountability sessions, or going to small groups, all those areas of health. If you're showing up every day and you're committed to growth and ultimately committing to following after Jesus, then there's a lot of equality. In fact, it puts you ahead of a lot of people who are either, not doing those things, not pursuing growth, not pursuing Jesus, and not growing as a man. So I just want to encourage all the people out there, whether you do CrossFit or not, that you are a man like all the other men. And it's good for others to remind me of that, and I want to remind you of that too. If that's something you always doubt or tend to doubt, feeling as much of a man or a man at all, even, just I'd encourage you to find one way. What is one way that can connect you with the rest of mankind? And that sounds really daunting and really impossible. But for me, working out, working on my body and not being ashamed of my body and feeling comfortable with my body. As a super emotional person who's very inwardly focused, to do something outward and tangible with hands and gripping things and getting little callus marks and all that, like that is huge for me as a super sensitive emotional person, to get out of myself, to get out of my inner thoughts and doubts and insecurities. So I'm curious about y'all's thoughts. Do you feel like a man? Do you feel like less of a man? Do you feel like more of a man? Maybe you do. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below on this video or head on over to our website, yourotherbrothers.com/video. Comment on our post there for this Manly Monday. Would love to continue the dialogue and share some stories about masculinity with this Manly Monday video. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YobTube channel. Give this video a like, subscribe to notifications so you'll never miss a single episode or a single video we put out. Actually helps us out, helps us grow in a big way. We just crossed 300 subscribers. That's incredible. So thanks to all of you guys who subscribe and watch our videos. I'll be back in a couple weeks for State of the Yob, which is our monthly roundup of all the action on our website for the month of March 2019. So in the meantime, you guys, as always, chase madly after God, speak meekly with others, and be manly everywhere